In Maple Creek, Ohio, the animal shelter had been closed for 5 years. Yet every night at exactly 2:47 a.m., the dogs started crying. Not barking, not howling, crying, like they understood what it meant to be abandoned. No one called the police anymore. No one drove past that road after dark. And anyone who asked questions didn't stay in town very long. Maple Creek was the kind of American town people forgot on purpose. One main road, a gas station that smelled like oil and regret, a diner with cracked red booths, and houses built for families that had already left. It was quiet, cheap, and invisible, perfect for someone like Ethan Miller. Ethan wasn't running toward a dream. He was running away from debt. 32 years old, freelance videographer, student loans piling up, gigs drying out. When he saw a rental listing for a small house in Maple Creek at half the normal price, he didn't ask questions. He signed the lease, packed his camera gear, and told himself silence would help him think. The landlord hesitated only once. "You work nights?" the man asked. "Sometimes," Ethan replied. The landlord nodded slowly. "Then you'll hear it." "Hear what?" But the man was already walking away. The first night was uneventful. Too quiet, actually. No traffic, no sirens, no neighbors yelling through thin walls. Ethan slept better than he had in months. The second night, he woke up sweating. A sound had pulled him from sleep. Not loud, but persistent. Scratching. Metal on concrete. A long, thin whine that rose and fell like controlled breathing. Ethan checked the clock on his phone. 2:47 a.m. He sat up, heart pounding, and listened. The sound wasn't inside the house. It came from far away, carried on the wind. Somewhere beyond the trees, beyond the highway. He stepped onto the porch. That's when he heard more voices joining in. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. Animals trapped somewhere, panicking together. But there was something wrong about the rhythm. It wasn't chaotic. It was synchronized, like they'd learned when to cry and when to stop. The noise ended abruptly. Dead silence. Ethan laughed nervously. "Coyotes," he muttered, even though he knew coyotes didn't sound like that. The next morning, Ethan drove into town and stopped at the diner. It was exactly what he expected. Stale coffee, laminated menus, locals who stared a second too long. He waited until the waitress refilled his cup. "Hey," he said casually. "What's that building near Route 16? Looks like an old shelter." Her hand froze mid-pour. "You don't go there," she said. "I didn't say I was going." An old man at the counter turned slightly. "You knew?" "Yeah." The man nodded. "Then listen carefully. That place is closed. Has been. Whatever you hear at night, it's not your business." Ethan frowned. "Animals don't just stay after a shelter shuts down." "No," the man replied, eyes fixed on his plate. "They don't." No one said another word. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. At 2:46 a.m., he was already awake. At 2:47, the sounds began again. This time, he didn't pretend it was nothing. He grabbed his camera. Ethan had built his career filming things people didn't want to see. Abandoned factories, forgotten hospitals, empty prisons. This felt familiar. Wrong, but familiar. The road to the shelter was cracked and overgrown. The building emerged slowly from the darkness. A long concrete structure surrounded by chain-link fencing and dead trees. The sign still hung above the gate, closed to the public. The fence wasn't broken. It was cut. Cleanly. Ethan stepped inside. The smell hit him first. Not decay, not garbage. Fear. A thick, chemical tang mixed with sweat and disinfectant. The kind of smell hospitals try to hide. He pushed open the main door. It wasn't locked. Rows of kennels lined the hallway, stretching farther than the building should allow. Rusted cages. Bent bars. Old nameplates bolted to the front. Most cages were empty. Some weren't. Dogs sat unnaturally still, their eyes tracking Ethan's movement. No barking. No growling. Just watching. Their breathing was off, slow, controlled, almost deliberate. Ethan raised his camera and started recording. One dog stood up. It took a step forward. Then another. Its mouth opened, and a voice came out that didn't belong in any animal's throat. "Help us." Ethan's hands shook. The camera clattered to the floor. Dogs don't speak. He backed away. Metal slammed behind him. One by one, doors throughout the facility shut with deafening force. Red emergency lights flickered on, bathing the hall in blood-colored flashes. An intercom crackled overhead. "Adoption hours are over." The voice sounded wrong. Too many tones layered together. as if several people were trying to speak through one mouth. Ethan ran. The hallway twisted, leading deeper into the building. Kennels gave way to rooms that had never been meant for animals. Operating tables. Leather restraints. For stands. Monitors still humming softly. Clipboards lay scattered across the floor. Ethan grabbed one as he moved.